Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to Bhagavata Sevaya. Welcome everyone. Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Dayamaya Baladev Prabhuji. He'll be sharing Bhagavad Gita from 4th Canto 29 chapter verse number 79. The chapter that we are discussing is talks between Narada and King Prachina Bharhi. Hare Krishna Dayamaya Baladev Prabhu, thank you for joining. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes Prabhuji, please start.
Hare Krishna. First of all, I would like to thank the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya team for having given me an opportunity, knowing fully well that I am not qualified to speak on this subject. But it is for my own purification and learning I have taken this opportunity. So I kindly request all the devotees to come forward in giving corrections, comments and additions if I am making any, if I am missing the important points in this text. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So today we are going to discuss about Canto 4, chapter 29, text number 79. Atastad apavardartham bhaja sarvatmana harim pashyamstad atmakam vishwam sthiti utpatti apayaya yataha. Word to word meaning. Ataha, therefore, that apavada artham, to counteract, bhaja, engage in devotional service, sarva atmanaha, with all our senses, harim, onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, pashyan, seeing, tad, of the Lord, atmakam, under the control, vishwam, the cosmic manifestation, sthiti, maintenance, utpatti, creation, apayaya, and annihilation, yata, from whom. Translation. You should always know that this cosmic manifestation is created, maintained and annihilated by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, everything within this cosmic manifestation is under the control of the Lord. To be enlightened by this perfect knowledge, one should always engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. Purport. Self-realization, understanding oneself as Brahman or spirit soul, is very difficult in the material condition. However, if we accept the devotional service of the Lord will gradually reveal himself. In this way, the progressive devotee will gradually realize his spiritual position. We cannot see anything in the darkness of night, not even our own selves. But when there is sunshine, we can see not only the sun but everything within the world as well. Lord Krishna explains in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita Mai asakta mana partha yogam yunjanmat ashrayah asamshayam samargram mam yata gnashya sitat shunu. Now here, O son of Pruta, Arjuna, by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. When we engage ourselves in devotional service of the Lord to become Krishna consciousness, we understand not only Krishna, but everything related to Krishna. In other words, through Krishna consciousness, we can understand not only Krishna and the cosmic manifestation, but also our constitutional position. In Krishna consciousness, we can understand that the entire material creation is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, maintained by Him, annihilated by Him, and absorbed in Him. So we are also part and parcel of the Lord. Everything is under the control of the Lord, and therefore our only duty is to surrender unto the Supreme and engage in His transcendental loving service. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistuki. Om Ajnanandimidandasya Gnananjana Shalake Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruven Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantik Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Chak Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sagana Ragnathanvitam Tam Tujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So so here the same topic was in the last class on Saturday. This was beautifully and in detail explained by His Grace Nityananda Prabhu. But anyway, I am not in that position to go in detail. I would be only covering the surface level. So here, Srila Prabhupada in this text, he is explaining that this is the talks between Narada Muni and Prachinavari, discussing about an allegory, giving an explanation about how Purunjana getting attracted to a beautiful woman. So Purunjana, he is here illustrated as the living entity. The queen, he's been illustrated as the material nature and having a material body having a 9 sense organs having openings. So here Lord has created this material nature because the living entity desires to enjoy. Because of the tendency to enjoy the material nature, the Lord has to create a facility. Like how children would like to play, but the parents would help them in taking to the playground. Similarly, Lord has created this material world. Here, the desire for the living entity, the cause for desire is the mind. Whatever the activities one performs in his previous life, those are all stored in a subtle form in the mind, whatever desires is there. And that activities will create samskaras in the mind. So after time, transmigration into different bodies, the living entity wants to enjoy as per the samskaras which is imbibed in his previous life or in the same life. So therefore, now in Karma Kanda, it is detailedly explained how one can be happy by performing certain kind of activities. And if one understands that and performs that activities, those activities will lead for happiness, and it will also create an account called punya. Similarly, those who doesn't follow the Vedic scriptures or any injunctions passed in the scriptures, they will tend to commit unauthorized activities, means sinful activities. That activities will lead to miseries, suffering. But even though the living entity thinks that by indulging into that activities, he thinks that I am going to become happy. But because of ignorance, he has to undergo suffering, miseries. So therefore, the remedy, the only solution for this is how to control the mind or how to engage ourselves in devotional service. So here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the creator, he is the maintainer and annihilator. So those who engage in devotional service, they are going to get elevated gradually. They're going to get gradually elevated because it is at the level of consciousness, because we have indulged in so many activities, knowing unknowingly for so many lives, and after obtaining the human form of life, we still have the tendency to enjoy in the material nature. Sometimes we want to exploit, dominate. So these tendencies are there. So now, what is the solution? It is clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that we have to abide by the scriptures, which has been detailedly explained for us by the acharyas and our spiritual master and many other pure devotees with whose association we can slowly try to understand and start following. So here, very importantly, how to uplift our consciousness by avoiding in committing sinful activities, unauthorized activities. So here, by the help of scriptures and the devotees, we have to slowly start following all the the detailed instructions and rules and regulations explained by our spiritual master and also Srila Prabhupada. By doing this, we can gradually uplift our consciousness, which is very important. So here, To get into this process, the only obstruction is the mind. Mind will not allow us to follow in the dharmic way or follow the regulated life, because living entity, we are independent. So there is no binding force. Lord has given us so much of independence to to do whatever we want. Because of that independence, we always fail to forget that what is the relationship with the Lord, and we wanted to be independent to the Lord so that we can enjoy this material nature. Now, as we know, this material nature is explained in the scriptures that it is a dukkhalayam. It will only lead to suffering life after life. So, therefore, an intelligent person will take up this process. Like how in this allegory, it is clearly explained that Puranjana getting attracted to the beautiful woman, and at the end of his life, because he was thinking of his wife when he left the body, in the next life he has to take the form of a woman. So we have to prepare our consciousness so that our state of mind at the time of living this body is very, very important. So we always have to prepare for that, because any moment any moment the soul can we can the soul can depart from this body. So it is very uncertain. Death is very uncertain. Any moment it can come. So therefore, we have to start preparing ourselves. So it is explained by Prahlad Maharaj that from the age of 5, we have to start preparing our consciousness, because entire life is an preparation and death is the examination. So for us, we are very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us the entire system for us to just follow, and with the help of so many devotees, we can take the association. See here, very importantly, Prabhupada emphasis is on association, how we can progress in devotional service. It is only by the association of devotees, pure devotees, and following the instructions of the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, we can gradually progress. So therefore, very important is given on the association. When we are associated with the devotees, we will start enjoying the devotional services. There are so many activities we perform right from morning till night. Unless and until we get the taste, we will get the taste only by started associating with the devotees, because we see some devotees are very happy, the senior devotees, for having practicing for so many years. So we can see that, oh, the devotees are very happy, blissful. So just by following their footsteps, we can also, by the mercy of the Lord, here very important is devotional service can be obtained only by the mercy of the Lord. So how do we get mercy? By serving the devotees and serving the Lord and following the instructions. Slowly we will get the mercy, and therefore with that we can gradually progress in our devotional service. So here we have to continuously be in constant association with the devotees and engage in various devotional activities. So there are so many kinds of activities. Whatever we are interested in, a certain type of activities, we can start doing that particular seva. That by engaging in that seva, gradually, means immediately we will feel that, oh, we are engaged and we are happy in engaging in that service. In this way, we can purify our senses. The purificatory process is very, very important. That can happen here. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that it can only happen by engaging in devotional service. So here again, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead because he possesses all the six opulences. Not only that, why he is the supreme personality of Godhead? Because he has created the entire manifestation, everything, the cosmic manifestation, entire thing has been creator. He is the creator, supreme creator. He is the creator, and he maintains under his entire guidance and supervision. The entire manifestation is maintained. Thereafter, he is the one who is going to annihilate. So therefore, we as a living entity, we should always understand that we are very, very insignificant. We are insignificant, and our eternal position is we are the servant, eternal servant of the Lord. The servant cannot become a master, as and when we compared in the material world. In the material world, they start with the lower positions and they become they can take the topmost position in a particular organization. But here in the spiritual world, it is different. The servant will remain a servant eternally, and the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Lord. This is devotional service. But when compared to the other atheistic other philosophies, there it is totally different, that they want to try to become one with the Lord, which is very, very dangerous. And we have to follow what is mentioned here in Bhagavad Gita. So when we understand that we are very, very insignificant here, and we are also the servant of the Lord, by engaging ourselves in the service of the Lord, that is our constitutional position. See, that is called self-realization, which is very important. Unless and until we are having some intelligence which will guide us to take up this process, it is very difficult, because the material nature is very, very is prominently or dominated by the three modes of material nature. It will create an obstruction for us to take up the position, to understand our real position, that we are the servant of the Lord. This is the problem. We doesn't want to be a servant, we want to be the master, at least in the outside material world. When we come to the devotional service, we will identify ourselves as a servant, because we are all part and parcel of the Lord. So cultivating the qualities which are suitable to execute devotional service, by doing this, we can gradually progress. So ultimately, one should try to understand what is his goal. What is the goal of the human life? Human life is obtained very rarely. Manava Janmam Durlabham. So after undergoing so many births and death, so many lower species of life, the topmost position is the human life. So here we have to undergo this process of self-realization. So what is the relationship between we and the Lord, and how to get away from the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease? So this is the goal of the human life. By doing this, we can ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. So for this process, we have to take the help of the scriptures, the association of devotees, and follow the instructions given by the acharyas, the Prabhupada, spiritual masters. So this process, by following this, the footsteps of the previous acharyas and the pure devotees, we can gradually make a progress. So here, very importantly, we have to understand what is the process of Krishna consciousness. We have to be, our consciousness have to be in remembering the Lord, engaging ourselves in the Lord. Always the consciousness should be Krishna consciousness. So whatever activities we perform, we have to keep Krishna in center, and so that we don't have any selfish motives. We only want to detail all the activities in the service of the Lord. By doing that, we are trying to please the Lord, or please our spiritual master. So here Srila Prabhupada has given us so many activities. Devotees who are interested in preaching activities, there is so much of opportunities to conduct preaching at various levels. And those devotees who are interested in deity worship, so there are so much of opportunity to serve in the temples or at home simultaneously. Like this, there are so many activities where we can engage ourselves. So here, very importantly, Krishna consciousness means how we are going to engage ourselves, dovetail our activities in Krishna consciousness. So to keep our state of mind in the Krishna consciousness activities, the mind should always be engaged in activities which are prescribed in the scriptures. So Arjuna also, he tells that it is very difficult to control the mind. I can control the wind, but controlling the mind is very difficult. So therefore Krishna detailedly explains that by practicing, putting practice, constant practice. So therefore we are all at the level, at the initially we are all in the sadhaka levels. So we have to constantly try to engage ourselves in the devotional activities. I know it is a greater challenge being in the where we have to interact with the outside world, dealing with the outside world, and keeping up our consciousness intact as per the scriptures. So we have to follow what Lord Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita. It is a practice. So continuously by practicing and with constant association, which will help us to develop taste in devotional service, which is very, very important. Initially, unless and until we understand that the material world is miserable and it is causing harm to us, it is very difficult for us to sincerely engage in devotional service. So once we start engaging in devotional service, understanding that the material world is dukkhalayam, then we will start relishing the devotional activities, devotional engagements, so that our consciousness and our mind is also engaged in the proper activities which are prescribed in the scriptures. So this is very, very important. So therefore we have to constantly follow the prescribed rules and regulations mentioned in the scriptures. So every devotee, see, there is a package which is given by Srila Prabhupada from morning to night. we have activities connected to devotional service. So devotee gets up early in the morning, he starts with Mangalarati, chanting, reading scriptures, deity worshipping, and then he has to go to do his prescribed duties. Even there, he will always keep his consciousness connected to the Lord and engage in their own prescribed duties. Again, we come back home, and again we end the day with activities related to devotional service. This is how, by constantly every day, by practicing this way, we can gradually progress. That is what here Srila Prabhupada, how we can progress, see, which is very important, progressing ourselves in devotional service. So we need to have a check whether we are whether we are able to uplift our consciousness. So uplifting our consciousness is that we have to see whether we are getting the taste in doing the devotional services. This is how it can be measured. If we are not getting the taste, it all depends on the individual levels, and they can easily understand to what level they are. So it is explained that we can really understand what is our position by understanding how much of taste we are going to relish in executing the devotional service. Example, chanting Hare Krishna also, we will have so much of diversions, so much of disturbances during chanting, but we should always try to engage ourselves, at least the mind, to concentrate on the syllables Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we should try to relish the potency invested in the names of the Lord. So by gradually relishing the taste in the chanting, that will only purify our senses. So this process is very important for Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only remedy. There is no other remedy other than the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So by just chanting this mantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he wanted to distribute this Mahamantra to all without any discrimination, to all living entities. Even animals can get purified by hearing this Mahamantra. So if that is there is no discrimination. And very importantly, for one to take up this devotional services, material designations or qualifications are not required. One need not be rich or highly qualified or having come from a big status. These things are not required in the are not required qualifications for devotional service. And moreover, those designations and qualifications are also not disqualifications. We can see a very qualified scholar can also become a pure devotee, and he can give this message to the world across. So therefore, Mahaprabhu was so merciful that any living entity can take up this process without any discrimination. So Mahaprabhu wants to liberate us. So we have to, and this period is called golden age. This 10,000 years. We are fortunate to have God in association with Mahaprabhu's movement. So we should also have little compassion on the all the other living entities, where we know that people are suffering. So by conducting various preaching programs, we can help them to how to come out from this material suffering and become happy. So everyone wants to be happy, but because certain people are intelligent, as it is mentioned in the Vedic scriptures, they try to follow the authorized actions. So they are going to they are going to be happy. So some people, because of ignorance, they will tend to commit sinful activities thinking that they're going to be happy. Their life becomes very miserable. So therefore we need to have some compassion on all the living entities to help them, like how we are helping ourselves. So simultaneously we have to help others also by doing various kinds of preaching programs, so that we are going to please our spiritual master and also Lord Krishna, which is the essence of our movement. Our movement is a preaching movement. So therefore we need to engage ourselves in doing various kinds of preaching. By doing that, we are also gradually progressing, and we are also going to help others. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I am thankful to all the devotees for giving patient hearing and tolerating me. And please come forward to give corrections and comments. And please add if I have missed any important topic which is related to this text. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for wonderful and in detail explaining what is material consciousness and what is spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness rather, and then helping us once again understand how fortunate we are by being connected with Srila Prabhupada. Devotees can unmute themselves to share any reflections, or if they have any questions, please ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you have explained very nicely in a very simple way about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and what is our duty. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Dayamaya, Baladev, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for
I
emphasizing.
have ended the class very soon, Prabhuji. I request devotees to please share important points related to this text and their realizations and reflections, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Actually, I thought of requesting you to share your realization on the devotional service. Right, Prabhuji, you have been, taken up different. You have been performing different devotional service, and through that, how you have got some realization. If you can share, that will give a lot of inspiration, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Actually, how I came into Krishna consciousness, I would like to just share on that, Prabhuji. And I had an inquisitive to know about Bhagavad Gita. I have heard people telling Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita, but I didn't get an opportunity to know what is Bhagavad Gita. But from my childhood, I had that interest to know about it. But we know that in the school levels or at various levels, we don't get that opportunity. We cannot even see the book. So, but we only keep hearing through various other these things. So, in the year 98, HSR layout, they started one preaching center, and when I shifted to my house at BTM, they dropped one pamphlet telling that Bhagavad Gita classes are conducted on every Sunday. So I just took that address and I went, and I started connecting myself from then. So, but initially I was attending various other organizational programs also, like wherever, even including Chinmaya Mission, or there are so many organizations which are conducting Bhagavad Gitas. It took about 3-4 years for me to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then I restricted myself to Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I had continuous association with ISKCON movement. So now, my realizations, Prabhuji, initially, it is that I understood that the material nature, now whatever you want to enjoy other than what is mentioned in the scriptures, it is totally suffering. In the youth, in the youth, we always tend to enjoy. We have that enjoying tendency. So that enjoying tendency is because we have not guided in the right direction. So we undergo a lot of suffering. So that actually that gave me little opportunity to understand the higher means to understand the higher things. So I was thinking, okay, nothing, there is no actual enjoyment in it, so let us try to understand something higher. So then I got in touch with ISKCON. Then I started regularly having I used to be very regular. Every week, at least every week, I used to go and attend the satsangs and start learning so much. So by that, because I was regular and I was really interested to know, that helped me to take up Krishna consciousness. And most importantly, many devotees guided me, they protected me, so that I am in continuous. But one thing I would like to confess is that I didn't take it up very, very seriously from the beginning. There was a lot of I could not like how, when compared to the youth, when the youth who are associated to base or some centers, how they take up, so they go in deep in philosophy, they get total understanding. Within 2-3 years, they are able to at least understand the entire thing and lead their life. But for me, in my case, it took a lot of years, and because I was not very, very serious, so it took so many years for me. So now I feel that I have wasted so many years, even after having got an association of Krishna consciousness. Then I have to console myself, telling that at least from now, if I'm able to do justice, so then at least I can improve myself, because I wasted so many years. So it is only by the help of devotees, and we need to have little at least we should have some desire to do the services, probably like various services, because each one is interested in various kinds of services. So at least if we are just connected to some service which we like to do. For example, some devotees are very good in philosophy, reading books and giving nice classes, beautiful classes. They inspire so many people. So like that, at least me, I was not very much interested in understanding the detailed philosophy. But even now I stood at a surface level only, but I enjoy services like the kirtan. I was very much attracted to the kirtan. What actually today, if I am able to sustain myself and continue, is first, initially it was the kirtan which got attracted. That is the base for me. I got attracted to the kirtan. When I am hearing to the kirtan, I will lose myself, and really I enjoy the kirtan. So that gave me a lot of inspiration. And then I slowly started doing some small services, which helped me to gradually progress. Because until and unless we involve in some services and conducting some Bhagavad Gita preaching programs, Bhakti Vriksha programs, and doing various services like book distribution, so that will help us to sustain ourselves and gradually progress. So this is how I'm able to sustain myself and release little taste in Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro.
Very
Hare
good.
Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing your realization, and that gives a lot of inspiration. I think I am also in the same boat. Still not so serious, but yeah, I think I should get inspiration from other devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Baroji, I think there are no more questions. So we can conclude. We can conclude with Vaishnava Pranams. Nam Pranam, Vaishnavi, Namo. Supporti Vaishnava Bhaktarinda ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ki Jai. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining. Due to the changing timings, we'll be continuing with this timings from now onwards. We'll meet again tomorrow for another speaker. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.